The fog rolls thick through the streets of Victorian London, carrying with it the acrid smell of coal smoke and the din of a million souls living cheek by jowl in the world's greatest metropolis. This is London in the 1800s, a city of stark contrasts, unprecedented growth, and a transformation that would reshape not only Britain, but the entire modern world. At the dawn of the 19th century, London's population stood at approximately 1 million. By the century's end, that number would swell to nearly 7 million, making it the largest city the world had ever known. This explosive growth was no accident. London was the beating heart of the Industrial Revolution and the capital of an empire upon which, it was said, the sun never set. The Thames River, thick with the traffic of empire, brought wealth from every corner of the globe. Ships crowded the docks at Wapping, Limehouse, and the massive new West India docks, unloading tea from India, spices from the Orient, cotton from America, and sugar from the Caribbean. London's financial district, the square mile known as the City, became the world's banking center, where fortunes were made with the stroke of a pen and lost just as quickly. Yet London was not one city, but two, or rather many cities existing in the same geographical space. In the West End, along streets like Mayfair and Belgravia, elegant townhouses rose behind wrought iron gates. Inside, ladies in crinolines took tea in drawing rooms lit by gaslight, while gentlemen in top hats discussed politics and business in wood-paneled clubs. Horse-drawn carriages clattered over cobblestones, delivering the wealthy to the opera, the theater, or grand balls that lasted until dawn. But venture east, across the invisible boundary that separated comfort from misery, and you entered another world entirely. In neighborhoods like Whitechapel, St. Giles, and Bethnal Green, poverty pressed down like the ever-present fog. Families of 8 or 10 crammed into single rooms in crumbling tenements. Children, some no older than 5, worked 14-hour days in factories, their small fingers perfect for threading textile machines or climbing inside chimneys to sweep away the soot. The rookeries, as the worst slums were called, were labyrinths of narrow alleys and rotting buildings where crime flourished in the darkness. Here, pickpockets honed their trade, while resurrection men dug up freshly buried corpses to sell to anatomy schools. Disease spread rapidly in these overcrowded conditions. Cholera epidemics swept through in 1832, 1849, 1854, and 1866, killing tens of thousands. Despite its problems, Victorian London was a crucible of innovation. In 1836, the first passenger railway terminus opened at London Bridge, revolutionizing transportation. By mid-century, a network of grand stations Paddington, King's Cross, St. Pancras connected London to every corner of Britain. The city itself was being rebuilt from below. The Metropolitan Railway, the world's first underground train system, opened in 1863, carrying 30,000 passengers on its first day, despite the smoke and steam that filled the tunnels. The Great Exhibition of 1851, housed in the magnificent Crystal Palace in Hyde Park, showcased Britain's industrial might to the world. 6 million visitors marveled at locomotives, hydraulic presses, and the Koh-i-Noor diamond. Prince Albert's vision had created not just an exhibition, but a symbol of progress itself. Communication transformed as well. The penny post, introduced in 1840, meant even the working classes could send letters. Telegraph wires began connecting London to the world, carrying news at unprecedented speed. By the 1880s, the telephone would arrive, and electric lights would begin replacing the yellow glow of gas lamps. The streets of Victorian London were a sensory assault. Hawkers cried their wares fresh oysters, hot pies, matches, flowers. Crossing sweepers, often children, cleared paths through the horse manure and mud that covered the roads, hoping for a copper coin. The clatter of hooves, the rumble of iron wheels, and the shouts of coachmen created a constant cacophony. Water, that most basic necessity, remained a luxury for many. Before the 1850s, most Londoners drew water from communal pumps, often contaminated by sewage seeping into the water table. The Great Stink of 1858, when hot weather made the polluted Thames unbearable, finally forced Parliament to act. Engineer Joseph Bazalgette designed a revolutionary sewer system, over 1,300 miles of underground brick tunnels that still serve London today. Food in Victorian London varied drastically by class. The wealthy dined on multiple courses soups, fish, roasted meats, elaborate desserts. The poor subsisted on bread, potatoes, and weak tea, occasionally supplemented by cheap cuts of meat or fish. Street food was ubiquitous. Fried fish, baked potatoes, pea soup, and the ever-popular pie, though one might wisely avoid asking too closely about the filling. The 1800s saw London become a cultural powerhouse. Charles Dickens walked these streets, transforming what he saw into novels that exposed social injustice. His works Oliver Twist, Bleak House, Great Expectations were often published in serial form, making each new installment a citywide event. The theater thrived, from Shakespeare to melodramas, and music halls where working-class Londoners found escape. The British Museum opened its doors freely to all who could read and write, a revolutionary democratic gesture. By century's end, the National Gallery, the Royal Albert Hall, and countless other institutions had made London a center of art and learning. But London was also a city beginning to confront its conscience. Reformers like Edwin Chadwick campaigned for public health improvements. Dr. John Snow's mapping of cholera cases in 1854 proved that disease spread through contaminated water, laying the groundwork for modern epidemiology. The works of Henry Mayhew exposed the conditions of the poor, while organizations like the Salvation Army, founded in East London in 1865, worked to provide material and spiritual relief. Victorian London's dark side captured imaginations then and now. In 1888, the Whitechapel murders attributed to the never-identified Jack the Ripper horrified the nation and revealed the vulnerability of women living in poverty. The case spawned countless theories and helped establish modern investigative techniques, even as it highlighted the dangers faced daily by the working poor. Yet crime was hardly new. Throughout the century, the city had struggled with organized gangs, prostitution, gambling, and the opium dens of Limehouse. Victorian London was a city of light and shadow, of breathtaking progress and profound despair. It was the cradle of the modern world, a place where new technologies and ancient poverty collided, forging the city we know today. Its streets still echo with the stories of the millions who lived, worked, and died in the greatest, most terrible, and most fascinating city of the 19th century. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more journeys into the past.